The morning it happened, I barely had time to steady myself before Victor Alden stepped into the elevator and knocked his coffee straight across my sleeve. The cup tilted against my arm, heat spreading through the fabric, and he just muttered, "Watch your step." "Elena," as if I had walked into him on purpose. I wiped at the stain with my thumb, still half asleep, still trying to convince myself that 13 years at RiverForge meant something. Victor tapped his phone with the impatience of a man who lived in a world where other people absorbed the consequences of his carelessness. I breathed slowly, trying to shake off the sting. When the elevator doors opened, he didn't wait for me to step out. He moved ahead, calling over his shoulder, "Walk with me." I followed, still smoothing my sleeve. We hadn't even cleared the hallway before he said it lightly, casually, like discussing office supplies. "This office suits my son well. Could you give it up for him?" My feet stopped before the rest of me did. "Give it up," I repeated, trying to decide if I had misheard. Victor finally glanced at me, his expression flat. "Aiden starts next week. He needs a proper space. You understand. New energy, new vision. Aiden, 24 years old, barely 6 months out of business school, and already the heir to a room I had earned through years of late-night reports and emergency fixes." I forced a smile I did not feel. "Of course. It will be great for nurturing his potential." Victor nodded once, satisfied. He believed I was grateful for the chance to be helpful. He believed I would quietly pack my things, adjust myself somewhere smaller, and continue carrying the weight of problems he never understood. He kept walking. He did not notice that I had stopped again. I looked down at the coffee mark drying across my sleeve, a small, uneven stain that suddenly felt like the perfect symbol for my place here. Spill. Ignore. Move on. Not this time. I walked to my desk without a word, opened my laptop, and sent an email to Human Resources about temporarily working from home during the office transition. I pressed send and felt something loosen in my chest. By the time Victor realized what that sentence truly meant, I would already be gone. When I first walked into RiverForge, the operations room sounded like panic disguised as routine. Boxes of unsigned safety forms sat on a table. Vendor invoices were scattered in mismatched stacks, and the ERP screen blinked with error messages no one understood. I remember asking a mechanic named Lane where the previous coordinator kept her records. He shrugged and said, "She left them somewhere. Good luck finding anything." Victor stopped by later that afternoon. "Just get things stabilized," he said, waving a hand at the mess. "You're smart. You'll figure it out." "Do we have updated safety logs?" I asked. He smiled like I had told a joke. "If we did, we wouldn't need you." For months, I worked late without being asked. Lane would pass my desk on his way out and say, "You heading home soon in a bit?" I would answer, even though I knew a bit meant hours. I called vendors one by one, learning voices before names. "Tom, it's Elena. Your shipment codes aren't matching our system." Tom always sighed. "We thought those were fine." "Tell me what you need." I rebuilt everything quietly, tracking sheets, compliance deadlines, invoice workflows. One night, I told Victor, "The reporting system is stable now." He clapped me on the shoulder. "Perfect. Automated at last." "It is not automated," I said. "I compile the data manually every Tuesday at 7 in the morning." He was already walking away when he replied, "Whatever you are doing, it works. Every Tuesday." I sat alone with vendor spreadsheets, converting formats, correcting timestamps, rewriting mislabeled entries from 3 different departments. The report Victor bragged about in meetings came from my keyboard, line by line. Years passed like that: quiet wins, quiet nights, quiet sacrifices. And every time Victor told someone, "Our systems run themselves," I felt something in me tighten, as if the work I carried was weightless to everyone but me. I first met Aiden Alden the Monday after that elevator incident. He walked into my office without knocking, a slim ring light tucked under his arm like a trophy. "You must be Elena," he said. "Dad said you know the old system." Old System I asked. You mean the operations? He laughed softly. Well, yeah. The legacy stuff. I am here to modernize everything. I watched him set the ring light on my desk, right next to my notebook. What exactly are you modernizing? I said. Pretty much all of it, he replied. Procurement, reporting, vendor relations. The whole structure needs fresh energy. He said it like the last 13 years had been stale air. He glanced around the room. Nice office. Good light. Decent size. You will have to ask facilities if you need something different, I said. He smirked. I will not have to. Dad told me this was mine. A real office for a real role. That is what he said. My hands went still on the keyboard. He said that. Yeah. He wants me close to the decision makers, Aiden answered. You are fine wherever. You can work from home, right? You do computer stuff. Computer stuff, I repeated. He stepped closer to the whiteboard where my deadlines were listed. This is messy. We will replace this with dashboards and live metrics. People should not be writing operations on a wall. They are not just dates, I said. Each line is a regulation, a vendor pattern, a seasonal shift. He smiled like I was being cute. I studied supply chain optimization at grad school. I get it. But we are not in the army here. We do not need war room boards. He picked up his ring light again. Anyway, I will move in by the end of the week. Dad said you would make it smooth. I watched him walk out, already talking into his phone about filming a first-day video. The office I had built into a command center had just been reduced to a backdrop in his mind. I stared at my screen long after Aiden left my doorway. My cursor blinked like it was waiting for me to choose a side, stay silent, or step out. I clicked open a blank email to Human Resources. Temporary remote work during the office transition. I typed, available by email, no explanation, no apology, no emotion. I read it once, then pressed send. Half an hour later, I passed Victor in the hallway. He nodded at me the way someone nods at a dependable appliance. Good timing. Elena, he said. Aiden will settle in quickly. You two can coordinate. Whatever works for you. I will manage. I answered. He smiled. I knew you would. There was so much he did not know. That night, at my dining table, I opened my laptop again. The light from the screen brushed my hands. Steady and quiet. I whispered to myself, if I can build RiverForge's entire operations, I can build something of my own. I started listing the vendors who trusted me. Tom from Louisville, Sonia from the Midwest chain, Parker Logistics. People who called me, not the company. I drafted a rough plan. Freelance operations consulting, no logo, no website, just a simple idea that felt like oxygen. On my first remote morning, I logged in at 7, the same way I had for years. I waited to see if anyone would ask where I was. 9 o'clock passed, then noon, then 3. Not a single message, not one check-in, not one acknowledgement that I had disappeared from the building entirely. Around 5, Lane texted me Aiden is confused about something with the Tuesday report. He thought it popped out automatically. You good? I am fine. I wrote back. Working from home for a bit. Lane replied with a single thumbs up. The silence from everyone else felt louder than anything Aiden had said. No one had noticed my absence. Not yet. Tuesday morning. I opened my laptop at home out of habit and checked the time on the corner of the screen. It was just past 7, the hour I used to start pulling data for the operations report. My hands hovered over the keys, then dropped to my lap. That report no longer belonged to me. At 8:30 in the morning, my inbox chimed. Subject line weekly ops report missing. From Aiden. Copied Victor. Finance. Logistics. Half the leadership list. Elena. He wrote, looks like the automated report did not send. Did you forget to trigger it before you went remote? I stared at the words automated report until they blurred. I typed slowly. There is no automated report. I replied. I compiled it manually each Tuesday. He answered within minutes. That makes no sense. He wrote, Dad said the system has been automated for years. I added one line. It has not. A few minutes later, Gary from IT pinged me on chat. Elena, quick thing, he said. Aiden just asked me where the script is for the Tuesday report. I told him there is no script. He looked like I told him gravity stopped working. That is because his father told him a story he wanted to believe. I said. Gary sighed. He is asking for admin rights to your folders. I am giving read only. I am not letting him rewrite your work in one afternoon. By midday, another email from Aiden arrived. This time shorter, more brittle. Send me your template, he wrote. I will handle it from here. I attached an empty spreadsheet. You will need to pull vendor shipments, production numbers, backlog projections, and seasonal adjustments. I wrote, you know which sources to use. He did not reply. Late that afternoon, a different message slid into my inbox. Elena. It read, This is Sonia from the Midwest account. Our invoice is marked pending again. Payments were never late when you handled them. Is everything all right over there? I looked at her words for a long time, then typed back slowly. Everything at RiverForge is changing. I wrote, but I am fine. The call came just after noon. I recognized the Louisville area code before I even answered. Elena, it's Mark, a familiar voice said. Tell me you are still handling your end over there. I am remote for a while, I replied. What is going on? He exhaled sharply. Your new guy Aiden, he approved an invoice without confirming the shipment. We sent 3 pallets. Your system logged 2. I asked him for the receiving report, and he told me he would circle back. That is not how the process works. I said, that is why I am calling you. Mark answered. He does not know the steps. He does not know the codes. He does not know who in your warehouse signs off on what. You were the only one who understood all of it. I am not managing operations anymore. I said quietly, you will have to go through their channels. There was a long pause. Elena, that is the problem. Their channels are broken. Payments are late. Inventory numbers are wrong. My team is losing patience. I rubbed my forehead. I wish I could fix it, but I am not inside RiverForge now. Another silence. Then a shift in his tone, hesitation mixed with hope. Are you taking independent work? He asked. Consulting, freelancing, whatever you call it. We need someone who knows the system. You know the system better than anyone. I straightened in my chair. What exactly do you need? A full audit, he said. Process cleanup, reconciliation. We will pay for your time. Just tell us your rate. My heart thudded once, heavy and clear. I can help, I said. Let me draft a scope for you by tonight. Good. Mark replied, honestly. Elena, we trust you more than RiverForge at this point. When the call ended, I opened a blank document at my dining table. No office, no title, no permission, just me finally naming my own value. The first message came on a Thursday afternoon. Elena, it is Lane. Do you have a minute? I called him right away. What happened? His voice cracked. I do not work there anymore. Aiden called it a restructuring. Said we needed leaner operations. He handed me a packet and a box. You have been there longer than I have, I said. Apparently experience is duplicated value now, he replied. He read it off a slide. I let that sit between us for a moment. Did Victor sign off? Victor did not even look at me, Lane said. He just said, we appreciate your service, and walked out. I felt the old anger stir, slower and heavier this time. What are you going to do? I have no idea. He answered, all I know is you are the only person who ever actually knew what I did. Come by my place tomorrow, I said. We will talk. That evening, another notification flashed on my phone. Elena, it is Rosa. The message read, they let me go today. Aiden said digital tools will replace half the safety team. I do not even know what that means. I called her immediately. Tell me exactly what he said. He said the logs were bloated. She replied. He bragged that he deleted years of redundant safety records to clean things up. He thinks regulations only care about the latest forms. My hand tightened around the phone. He deleted the historical logs. Yes, she said. I tried to stop him. He told me I was being dramatic. You kept local backups, I said. Rosa hesitated. On my personal drive. I did not tell him. Good, I answered. Can you work part-time for me? She was silent. Then, carefully. Are you serious? I have a client in Louisville already, I said. I cannot handle all of this alone. I need someone who understands safety records and someone who knows the floor. That is you and Lane. Rosa exhaled slowly. If you are building something, I am in. The next morning, when Lane sat at my table with a cheap cardboard folder in his hands, I slid 2 simple agreements across to both of them and picked up a pen. By the second week of my consulting work, the calls from RiverForge vendors doubled. None of them came from Victor or Aiden. They came from the people who actually kept shipments moving. Tom called first. Elena. OSHA sent a warning notice to your old department. They missed a deadline by 4 days. Is anyone even running compliance over there? I am not part of RiverForge anymore. I said, you will need to ask management. We tried, he answered. No one knows where the documents are. The next day, Sonia called. Our payment is overdue again. They blamed a system issue, but that never happened when you handled it. I understand your frustration, I said, but I cannot access those systems. I know, she replied. That is why we are calling. By Friday, a message from someone I had not heard from in years popped up on my phone. Elena, it's Jordan from Northline Fabricators. We left RiverForge last month. I sat up straighter. You left. We did. He said. Their lead times collapsed, and the numbers never matched. You were the only one who kept things clean. We want you to run our operations overhaul. Not them. You. I took a breath. Tell me what you need. We need accuracy, he said. We need someone who can see problems before they hit. Your name came up in every meeting. Before I could respond, another notification lit my screen, an internal email thread from an old colleague. Elena. I thought you would want to know. The message read, Aiden is no longer copied on executive operations updates. The board asked Victor why performance has tanked. Things are unstable. I read the message twice, then set my phone down. For months, Victor believed silence meant strength. Now, silence had turned on him. The cracks I had watched from a distance were no longer cracks. They were widening into something he could not ignore. Just past dusk, a sharp knock echoed through my living room. I opened the door and found Victor Alden standing on my porch, shoulders slumped, eyes unfocused, his tie hanging loose like he had given up trying to look in control. Elena, he said, voice thin, I need to talk to you. I stepped aside without inviting him. He walked in slowly, as if the air inside my home weighed twice as much as the air outside. We are in trouble, he began. Real trouble. I folded my arms. Define trouble. He swallowed hard. We lost 3 major contracts. Northline, Parker Logistics, and Midwest Components. Gone. OSHA issued 2 violations. Our insurance premiums jumped by nearly 40%. The board wants explanations I cannot give. I waited. He rubbed his forehead. Aiden is overwhelmed. He is young. He needs guidance. You always knew how to steady the ship. If you come back, I can reinstate your office. Full salary restoration, a leadership role, whatever title you want. That is generous, I said quietly. It is necessary, he corrected. Elena, please. We need you. I walked to my dining table, opened the drawer, and pulled out a single folder. I placed it in front of him. He glanced down, scanning the first page. His eyes widened. This is... This is what you earn now. 6 months of consulting, I said. Part-time. Flexible hours. Respectful clients. He kept staring at the numbers. This is more than we paid you in 3 years. Exactly. He looked up, desperation flickering across his face. You do not have to choose them over us. You have history here. Elena, 13 years of it. History, I said, is not the same as value. His mouth opened, then closed. He had no answer. Elena, he whispered, tell me what I need to do to bring you back. I drew in a slow breath. There is nothing you can offer that replaces the dignity I regained when I walked out of that building. Victor lowered his eyes. Defeated. He left my home with the same silence he had once used to ignore my work only now. It carried every consequence he had never believed would fall on him. Rosa set a paper cup on my desk and dropped into the chair across from me. You know they finally did it, she said. The board removed Aiden this morning. Lane leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. They did more than that. They pulled half of Victor's authority. He has to run every major decision through a restructuring committee now. I glanced at the whiteboard behind them, where our own clients' deadlines were neatly stacked. How did you hear old contacts? Lane replied. People are scared. OSHA fines, lost contracts, a mess in the warehouse. They said it feels like the floor is moving under them. Rosa shook her head. They should have listened before it got this bad. I opened my laptop to check a schedule. We have Northline's review at 2, Louisville on Thursday, and Parker wants a follow-up call next week. Let us focus on what is in front of us. Before either of them could answer, there was a knock on the office door. The building receptionist stepped in, holding an envelope. This just came for you, Ms. Marston. Courier delivery. I thanked her and took it. The letterhead was RiverForge's, the ink heavy and familiar. I slid a finger under the seal and unfolded the pages. Elena, it began in Victor's handwriting. On behalf of the board, I am formally requesting that you consider returning to RiverForge in an executive capacity. We are prepared to discuss revised compensation, authority, and any structural changes you deem necessary. Lane watched my face carefully. What do they want me? I said. Again, but this time on their terms, not mine. Rosa let out a tired laugh. After everything they did, now they remember your name. I folded the letter once, then again, until it fit neatly back into the envelope. Write them a response for me. I said to Rosa, thank them for the offer. Tell them I am fully committed to my own firm and my current clients. No counter, Lane asked. No counter, I said. I walked to the window, looking out over the Ohio River, listening to the quiet hum of voices from the small offices around us. I walked out of that office, I said, and I was never coming back.